I know the camera's muted. Should be noted I have a piece of graph paper I'm doing this from. And it's mostly just going to be counting and making out the floor, and then the wall, and then possibly the ceiling afterward, or some way in that order. And this is the biggest area though, being like an entire half of a section. Like, separate into floor, section, area, and then room. So the current room I'm working on is seeing this corner being the hall, but this one's the biggest, containing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rooms. And all the others contained about like 3, maybe 4. If that makes any sense. But that's also mainly because this can't really be like made any different without being weird in a way. Mainly with door placement. But area and what goes where will most definitely make sense, I hope. I'm gonna do something real quick, but it won't really be much of a difference from what I'm doing now. Being that I'm going to... I really haven't showed this yet, but I will once this area is done, hopefully. It doesn't take too long. But this is just real quick on how it's set up, where I would... Which one is... Oh yeah, area 4. So that's what it looks like in scene. And what needs to be done is moving the object itself to where it will be. So if I can see if it truly fits where I've chosen for it to be. Which in this case, it's right here. Also, this is area 3, these 3 rooms. Area 2 is these 3, and then area 1 is this area. I've given up on the blocking idea, but I will be using this textured wall and gray doors. Though the gray doors will probably be in the final, and they'll have a symbol on them for what the key is used. Because this will have keys to block off certain areas. The other colors and shapes being notable being a red triangle, green square, and purple circle, octagon shape thingy, whatever you want to call it. It's going to be purple circle though. That's what it'll be called. They're double-sided though because you'll need the key on both sides. And this room will go about to like right here, with an area is filling in these gaps. Hopefully, at least. Yeah, it should. This area over here, though, like this section, is the places where I've changed the most from the original layout. So, I'm using scribbles over scribbles to make it. It's just a fun fact. Also, I did forget to turn on the audio last stream. It was just this song though. Hope you enjoy it though. So this is the layout of the area I'm doing, which is actually exactly 6 rooms. It probably could have had this be its own little area, this little midsection, but how much I could do now. Well, I could just change it up now, but it really wouldn't make a difference overall as areas are loaded and then unloaded as you go through. Actually, I could show an example of this right now. Hold on, I'm gonna show like the only minute of gameplay that there is so far. And as well as describing something that would be used later in the game as well for true, like, how this would work. It will follow the major way that it did in the demo I have out, or had out. I forget if I unshared it or not. That is literally all there is to the gameplay so far. It's literally just going to be a fetch quest as part of the tutorial. Mainly to show, like, that, like, possibly a backtrack to a new player. Because the character that will be in, like, these 2 rooms would need this doggy. He will, at least. And also this door is currently accessible, but... Huh. That should not be... Did I accidentally add it? No, I'm in prefab mode, that's why. I would like to show it now properly. I'm probably going to turn down this fog by a little bit. 0.5. Like, it isn't fully needed, it's just made to add a little haze. If that's set at 0.1, 0.5, sometime. Well, that should be a good fog in this. Like, even in play mode, that's more than enough. But area 2 and 3, 4, well, area 4 would be turned off if it was fully added, that is. Like, they're all turned off. And if I were to have this showing mainly for this section, like, I can go around, and as I do it, the area in variable, like, see now it's a 2. If I were to go back through the door, it'll turn into a 1 after a certain area, where it would unload area 1. Like, see, now that one's unloaded and that one's loaded. That took me a lot longer than I expected. Mainly because I'm playing with structs. Actually, I could probably show it. Yeah, I was working with the hold object to stop a accidental soft lock, where an item, it would originally spawn it at the hand of the player, but you can clap the hand into a wall and drop it. So now it'll put into the head of the player, which isn't really reliable when setting things down, but should work. But this is the struct that's working with. It's a quick explanation, which will connect to down here, which then would have the floors as their own structs to keep them separated. and allow me to add certain things to certain floors, but at the current moment it's just areas, which then, in the area, it has the identification for which floor it is, the actual area's identification, the visuals of the map and lights, and the placement of the player if it were to be loaded in that area. For which, as a good example, I could put into, say, Area 3, and the player won't start in that area, but instead would be, by technicality, as how if I were to build the game now, it would be a soft lock. You can't go back through this door. Well, you can go through this one and this one. And there's the purple circle to show. And just a quick look, it completely skipped these areas. Again, for both testing purposes and like gameplay purposes, like it will save what floor and area you're in. Again, this is a game that's like an escape room with heavy emphasis on backtracking, but doing activities with creatures in a way. Of course, it's a couple fetch quests, just to force backtracking, but overall it's like to explore a new area. For example, the current one is like one like this, where you could go from the area that would go like wrap around here and into this little nook hole. Like that area, you would be able to backtrack through this door instead of going the long way around, in the sense. Also, this is practically the width of the area. It's just this. There's just going to be a hallway here. If that makes any sense. And then there's a hallway over there, and that's like the entirety of what I would consider the tutorial section, where it's teaching doors, picking up objects, swapping between the two. And of course, there'll be a creature in here. I have removed the one that would have been in this room, though. I'm gonna figure out a different place to put that creature. But then this one would be essentially like the one with the fetch quest, but as like just a random one. I am not saying names, so I have revealed whom. And then the hallway down here and over here is the contention of that one trailer I did. But the creature that would be here would be restricted to this area, though. I'm gonna try. So, like, it would only stay within its specific area. And, well, up until a certain point, or then it would... Yeah, I'm just gonna wait, I'm not gonna spoil. There was something that was going to go in this little middle T, but I'm not sure if I'm going to fully implement it yet, or even model it into the rooms. Because, again, I'm trying to stop soft locks and make a general outline of the game. And this would be more of like an area that you can backtrack to if you wanted to do something extra if you wished. It won't really do much. But, yeah. You won't really need to go back to this floor, except for what's behind this door. And one that will be over here. Like, this entire area, you won't even need to go into in its entirety anymore. Like, the creature that's used here will be used elsewhere, same for the one here and here, for other plot points, but like, this hallway and these two rooms, you'll probably never go back into after this. If that makes any sense. Like, there's no reason to. Like, there's a reason to go into... Like, there's not even a reason to go into this door, actually, now that I think about it. It's just an extra door if you were, like, to... Because this map is going to be extremely big and expansive, which is why it's separated into rooms and areas and all that. Like, there would be a door over here, like... A quicker method of getting down to this door would probably be going down this hallway and then straight to it. If that makes any sense. Like, it's made to be like one big intertwining labyrinth of a sort. That is also why I call it the facility. That's what it is. that is one entire room complete, but it should be noted the walls are one-sided, mainly because of height differences. Like, this room's a little higher than this one's roof, because this is only a hallway, it doesn't need to be too high. Well, this one I plan on putting in something that'll make it need it to be high, same for this one, and this one. But the hallway does not need to be high. And plus, there's actually only one door that will possibly... Yeah, there's actually only one door that needs a key in this section, being this one. That allows you to go through here and exit. But that's about it, actually. Like, you're free to explore this entire area once you've completed this one's thing. It's relatively simple to get to this point. And technically, from this point on, you just explore and find your way into this area. With hints from the two creatures that would be like here and like along this back wall, I guess, telling you that you'd probably need to go over here, because there would be one door on this side of a hall. Okay, the door would be literally like right here, and it would lead to like a stairwell, and that would lead to 4, -4. It's at, I think, 5 of this one, because it does allow for a very specific gameplay function, and if I wanted to. I'm not going to say what that function is yet. But yeah, this is overall very simple. Like, if the height of an area is either 3 or 4, like, this is a height of 3, this is a height of 4, and it's either one of these two, or a squished floor that technically sits between floors. But yeah, I'm not gonna dwell on that too long. Actually, I'm just gonna be quiet now and work on the next room. Actually, I could probably go in here and add the colliders. Now, when you go through this area, it should actually just, like, allow you to walk in it. Should be noted that there's no way in here yet. I don't plan on adding that. Like, I will add this key, like, the files are practically ready, I just need to assemble the scriptable object. But until this section's over, I'm just gonna save it for an ending. So, wait for it and you'll see. Well, it's labeled laundry in this. This room right here is going to be a bathroom, similar to this one. And it is most likely going to be like a showers here. There is going to be, both of them will have the ability to do laundry in these corner, and then possibly just a toilet across from each other. Because over here just being a stand for probably towels, and same in this corner, where the doll sits. Again, though, this is mostly just planning though for this. Not really much else to them. Oh, also, if not clear, I'm not using like the default gray that Unity comes with, so I can make sure that everything's textured properly. Like, this stands out against this, essentially, compared to this to this. Like, it's something small, but it is something I do, and it makes sure that everything is visibly connected. I only have 2 more rooms left to do. Originally, the door, though, to the storage room was right here, but I want more room to put, like, things that the creature in this section would want to have in his room, most likely. Because, again, well, actually, I haven't actually explained it, I don't think. The creatures mostly chose to become creatures, and are mostly, like, choose what goes in the places where they reside. Like, they're not monsters unless you make them out to be. Well, there's 3 specific ones that are monsters, and a couple that are on the line of it. But overall, they're not monsters, they're creatures. But they're also not quite animals either, though, as well. They're sort of an in-between of alive and dead as well, by technicality, and yeah, it's just a large conversation. Oh, I'm gonna make this room next. That's another room done. Also, I just realized I left my microphone on. time is almost up for this stream, so I'm going to do one more thing. That requires something very special. I have been updating what I have named the museum. I have not... Actually, this testing door can be removed. What matters is duplicating the green square key. And instead being purple circle key. It will use practically the same dimensions either way. Keys will get a new prefab purple circle key. Which inside the non-texture will be purple circle. So it doesn't matter what color the square is. So what color this circle is. I can actually just move it over a little bit. About 7.5. About 7.5. 0.25. 0.25. 0.5. 0.75. Now, time to show the fun parts while I'm a little bit over time. Being putting this key to use. First of all, this key will be in this room, no doubt. I almost forgot about the 0.5 thing. And the hold object. This just makes it sit on the palm of the hand. Instead, but also this needs to be 0, 0, 0, so that when it spawns in it doesn't fly off. They'll get added to items, keys, and then in the map itself, I want this door, which I do want it to open, and I'll have the requirement, a purple circuit key, which is one of them. And now I'm going to do one last test. Play, and then this room will be over, I guess. So, go get the green key, which is in this room. I do not need to bother with the willow doll just yet. I also need to make sure that the purple key makes sense. You can't get stuck up there. I'll probably also retexture the doors though as well to be like little shingles. Yep, it sits on the hand quite nicely. And now I should be able to go in here. For which, yep, it's exactly as it needed to be, I think. Again, exploration rewarded with some collectibles, most likely. And, yeah, you could just fall out of the map. Well, bye-bye now. I will not be doing any trigger assembling now, or doors. That's a tomorrow issue. But for now, good night.